Hey guys, I think we might really be onto something with this format because here I am already back with another video. I had such a good time reading Daughter of the Forest that I had to rush back here as soon as I possibly could find time to film the video because I'm dying to know what the jar is going to pick next for me because this was a massive success. So first of all, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, this is my TBR jar. Or as Zen pointed out in the comments in the last video, this is not a jar, this is a can. But for all intents and purposes, this is a jar, a TBR jar, okay? Anyway, I picked a book from the jar and it was Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier, and I absolutely loved it. If you would like to watch the video where I talk about this format and pick that book, the link is right there. But what we're gonna do first is I am going to review Daughter of the Forest because this was such a success. I mean, like the 5-iest of 5 stars. And then at the end, we'll pick from the TBR jar my next read. I'm really, really excited to see what it's going to be. When I was kind of chit-chatting with my friends about this format and making these videos, my friend Brent suggested that I try my hand at some vlogging. And if you've been sticking around this channel for any time, you know that I've never done that before. I've attempted it a few times, but I don't think I ever actually put any of the clips into videos. So he talked to me about that and I was like, you know, I might as well try it, right? We're trying new things. I don't know how it turned out. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna go ahead and like cut to that and then I'll come back and we will do the review. So I was just reading a passage in Daughter of the Forest that made me be like, okay, I get the Robin Hobb comparisons. It took me back to one of the many times in Realm of the Elderlings when Fitz just gets lost in recounting kind of like a montage of an experience. And it's just like, audiobookers know, you hear a passage like that and it makes you go, what was that? And so you have to rewind it to listen to it again, not because you weren't listening and not because you didn't hear it, but because it was just too good, right? So then the next thing you do is you pause it again, you rewind it again, and you go sit down and get your book because you're like, I need to see this with my eyes as well because it's like so perfect. It also reminds me sometimes of young Quoth when he gets, you know, those recalls, the memories, the seasons of life, like those kind of montage sections that are so memorable from both Rothfuss and Hobb. They both do it so well. Those like magic moments that are like, nom, 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 nom. Like that's what makes great books great to me, are those passages that like stop you in your tracks and be like, I have to do that again. And this book has that. So, you know, I'm into it. So this is really good. It took me a little while to really get into it. In fact, I actually false started this book like twice before. And every time I was like, I don't want to push it because I can tell I'm not in the mood for this right now. But when I read it for real, I want to like it because I wanted this to be something I loved. So I false started it twice. And it did take me, like this time, the only reason I pushed forward is because I drew it from the jar. And like that was the point, like whatever I draw, I'm going to read, right? So I pushed through. I'm so glad it's good, guys. It's the kind of good that when I'm not reading about it, I'm thinking about it. Ugh, that bun's too messy. Like, I love it. So, I can't wait to finish it. Like, honestly, this is all I have left, and I'm just glad that there are more books in the series. From what I understand, this reads like a standalone, but there's more, and I can already tell I'm going to want to gobble them up. I am loving it. Also, new book crush. It's not a romance even, but I'm in love. I have never had, not never. It's been a long time since I've had a book crush that wasn't in like a romance. Like you're supposed to have crushes on those guys. This is just like, I just love it. I love a book that makes you obsessed and I just feel it. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So good job, Jar. Okay, it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't stayed up this late to finish a book in a really, really long time. I loved it. Like, I can't wait to do a review of this because, like, this is exactly what I was looking for. Shout out to my friend Laura for nailing it with this recommendation. I'm just mad at myself for putting it off for like 2 years. But I don't know. My plan is to like read the rest of them, I guess. But like I'm still in the like I want to read this one again. You guys know how I love rereads. This one is getting reread at some point. I loved it. All right, so Daughter of the Forest. Clearly, I loved it. This has been on my TBR for a very long time. It was recommended to me by my friend Laura Aspinall. It's one of her favorite books of all time. She mentioned that she rereads it frequently, and it's just something that lives in her heart, okay? And she sold it to me adequately. I purchased the book almost immediately, and then for some reason, it's just been camped out on my TBR. So big shout out to the Jar for pushing me to read this, because this is probably going to be a contender for book of the year for me. I absolutely loved it. So like I mentioned in the vlog, it took me a little bit longer to really get hooked into it than I expected. But never at any given time did I not like it or get bored or worried that I was going to lose interest in it. The way it's written is just so beautiful, and the atmosphere is established almost immediately. So I was entranced. I was enjoying the reading and the listening. Also, the audiobook is beautiful, by the way. And like I said, several events happen at the very beginning of the book for the first 50 pages or so. So there was always something to keep my interest. I was just waiting for the hook, and it came. And once this book got its hooks in me, I couldn't put it down. When I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it. When I was reading it, I was thinking about like how much more of this can I get in. As I mentioned in the vlog, that I stayed up till almost 3 o'clock in the morning finishing this book because I just couldn't stop. And that was fun. That's always a great experience when you get so sucked into a book that you just choose the book over sleep. But I am 40, and that took me like 2 whole business days to recover from. So on one hand, I do recommend getting so addicted to a book that you choose the book over sleep. But on the other hand, that is not for us old folk anymore. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the atmosphere. I mentioned that, and that's the word that keeps coming back to me every time I think about this book, because the plot was excellent. The characters, unforgettable. But there was something about just the setting and the atmosphere of this book that, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like the prose plus the atmosphere equaled this like magical experience. And the actual setting is ancient Ireland. I don't really know what, like I would guess maybe like 1300s or something. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, ancient Ireland, and it's based on Celtic mythology and folklore. So that's where the magic comes in this historical fantasy novel. A lot of times when I read historical fantasy, now I love historical fantasy, by the way, but it's like someone just whispered the magic in the same room while he was typing it out or something, like barely there, right? This one had a great balance of magic for the fantasy fans, but rooted in this historical folklore. And I just loved the balance because, again, we're getting the magic from druids and the small folk, curses and stuff like that. But there was enough of it that it definitely felt like a fantasy novel, but it also felt so human and grounded and real. I went into it thinking it might feel like a fairy tale, and that's not what happened. Like, this was incredibly human. Like, we'll get into that in a second. It was a hard read at times because it was not always easy for our main character. Let's just talk about her for a second. So her name was Soraka, and I probably am saying that very, very wrong, but just one of the best female lead characters I have read maybe ever. I mean, absolutely strong, compassionate, smart, loyal, determined. I mean, just, she embodied every type of love. The love of her heritage and nature in the forest, her familial love for her siblings specifically, which is a huge, like, easy button for me, because like my siblings are my favorite people in the world and I would do anything for them. And to read a story that's literally about someone like doing anything for their siblings, it just really hit the mark for me. But also love, like romantic love. I wasn't expecting it, but this book is a romance in many, many ways. But it was so beautifully earned, and it just, I fell in love right along with them. So man, everything was just so well executed. I mean, if you were to Google this, somewhere in everyone's description, it's going to say it's a character-driven fantasy book. And these characters, you will never forget them, ever, ever, ever. Like, there are many brothers, and at first I'm like, oh my gosh, so many names. It doesn't take long at all before you can tell who is who, because they are written to be such distinct people and interesting people that each have something to bring to the table. So the character work is incredible. You'll remember them forever. But my goodness, the plot was also just gripping. I mean, there were, like, this is written in first person retrospective. So, spoiler, you do understand that, like, this person telling the story lives till the end, right? But there are so many moments that you're just like, what's going to happen? How is she going to get out of this? Like, there's no way, there's no way. Like, oh my gosh, it was gripping. It was exciting and really, really good. When I say exciting and stuff, I don't want anyone to get into this thinking that it might be epic fantasy though, because that's just not what this is. This is along the lines of what I call intimate fantasy. People who like Robin Hobb, Guy Gavriel Kay, Patrick Rothfuss, like, you're really, really going to like this, because the story is told with not only the same kind of voice and formatting, but in this, it's gonna hit the same emotional notes as well. If you think Quoth or Fitz went through some stuff, Soraka said, hold my beer. Like, this poor person went through terrible, terrible things. I guess this is a good place to say that there is a really triggering scene that is graphic and violent and heartbreaking. And if you want to know more about that specifically, shoot me a message privately and I'll tell you about it, because I don't want to do any types of spoilers, but there are some real life things that happen in here that were very hard to read and will break your heart. So that did kind of surprise me a little bit, but in the same breath, like, it was accurate and realistic and sad. So yeah, if you're looking for a deeply emotional story with gorgeous lyrical prose that contains themes of sacrifice, family, resilience, duty, love, I mean, just characters you will never, never forget, I really, really recommend this. I have very few critiques. Like I mentioned, maybe a couple trigger warnings for a few people. Like I said, it took me a little while to get hooked in, but even that I don't consider a critique, because every page is on purpose and every interaction matters. So just trust the process and go with it. I don't know, stuff like this though, it just really reminds me why I love fantasy, why I love to read. So really good job, Laura and Jar, for this like hookup. On one hand, I was like, I can't believe I waited so long to read this. But at the same time, like, there's a time and a place for everything. And this was the exact book I needed when I needed it. So I've mentioned I've been sucked in with all the romances. Well, what a perfect segue back to reality, because this definitely was a romance. And it made me kick my little feet and like get excited a few times, but not in like the same way, of course. But just so good, such good. I wasn't expecting the romance, but it really worked. So yeah, it just really reminded me how rewarding it is to just completely disappear into a beautiful book. So book of the year contender. Oh, as far as other things, I'm going to keep my little, I've used this as my bookmark while I was reading this. and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to rank them. And right now, of course, I'm going to stick them on my wall. I'll show you later. Right now, that is number 1. So I guess what comes next is drawing a new book from the jar. I'm super excited. All right. All right, here's what's left. I'm nervous. Let's see. Okay, it is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. And hold on a second, I'll go grab the book. Here it is. Okay, this is another one that has been on my TBR for a very, very long time. And I've been kicking it down the road for no good reason. In fact, it's shocking to me that I haven't read it yet, because as far as I know, it's not a standalone. I know that there are more books in this, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is another one that can be read on its own if you so choose. But this has been recommended to me by so many people. It definitely seems like a book I should have read by now, based on who all likes it, who all has recommended it to me, its reputation. Sci-fi is something I don't reach for as readily as I do fantasy. I get a different type of enjoyment out of it, and it's just harder for me to just like blind go in and pick something. But I also don't like to know too much about books before I get started. I don't know much about this, guys. I don't even know what type of fantasy is. Like, based on the cover and this spaceship, I'm thinking maybe something similar to The Expanse, where like Earth has colonized other planets and they're living on space stations, and you know, it's more about like the people interacting in space than it is space. That's my guess, kind of. But oh, wait a second. Is this the one with spiders? Okay, I haven't read a ton of sci-fi. I have sci-fi up here, and I get confused sometimes, or, you know, just mixed up on what is what. I think this is the one that has spider aliens. So yeah, I'm going in pretty blind. Let me know if you guys want me to do the vlog thing again. Like, I recognize that was pretty awkward, but my first time, right? Let me know if you want me to do that again, and I will vlog some while I'm reading this if you want. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'm sold on that. We'll see what this video looks like when I patch it all together. But anyway, we got our book from the jar. I will be back soon. This looks like a fatty, but I doubt it will take me too long to get through it. I do have some library holds that I need to get through before I get to this one. One is a book club book, and one is just one that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and I've got like 5 days left on my hold, so I need to prioritize those. But then I will get back to this, and then once I finish it, we'll be back for another review and another book from the jar. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and for I need your feedback about that vlog thing, okay? And let me know how off base I am about my predictions for this. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.